Hi guys, it's time for another Q&A video where I answer some of the questions that you placed in the comments below. So if you want to get your question answered, just place it in any comment on any video really. So the first question here is from Cruiser Boarding. Which newsletter capture plugin, exit intent pop-up, do you use on your affiliate websites? I have used a lot of different pop-up plugins for exit intent pop-ups and just regular pop-ups. They are always either buggy or expensive. So today I'm using the features that are built into Elementor. I think it's part of the Elementor Pro plugin. So you have to pay a little bit for this. I can share the prices here on the screen. But it works really well. And it does cost a little bit. But I'm happy to pay for it because there's so many plugins that I can delete on my sites when I use Elementor Pro. So this exit intent pop-up thing is one of these things. There's so many ways to set this up. If you can think about it, they have built it into it. So that's the one that I'm using now, and it works well with Astra, the theme that I'm using, and I've also seen it work well with many other themes. And Mike is asking, I started working on a website in the home improvement last year, October, and got to 32,000 page views. Wow, congratulations Mike. Over the last 30 days from 130 articles. Would it be better to continue working on this one site or start a second site because I'm paranoid about owning just one website? The site is currently with Monimetric and getting $5 to $6 RPM. Not sure if I should apply for MediaMine. Okay, so a couple of questions here. And first, congratulations on getting 32,000 page views per month. That's no small thing. So to get to the first question about whether you should continue building this one or start a second website, I think I would start working on a second website now that you have some traffic. And you also have premium ads on your site right now, so you will start quickly to see what's working and what's not working so well with ads. So find another topic that you enjoy writing about. So depending on whether you're writing the content yourself or you're outsourcing at this point, I would go for a niche that you're either very passionate about or you could at least be somewhat passionate about. And then just start building a few articles every week just to start seeing some momentum on that new site. It's a clever thing to do at this point, I think, because we don't want too many eggs in that same basket, you know. We have seen sites here during the pandemic getting smashed because they're in the travel niche, you know. Airplanes can't even take off the ground right now, so having a website right now about travel tips would be horrible. So I haven't been hit so hard because I have many websites across many niches, and that's probably what you heard me talk about. So I would start diversifying right now. And you're also asking whether you should apply for MediaMine at this point, and you probably should. You can also go with Ezoic. I think you'll see very similar numbers there. And you have to wait a little bit longer until you get to 100,000 page views before you can apply for AdThrive if you want to do that. So the next question here is from Barry. He says, if we see the article has the answer in it somewhere, but the headline isn't on point, should we still go for it? So that's a good question here. So Barry is doing his competitor analysis and he's weighing whether he should write this article or not. So he found this other article that has the answer buried deep down there into the article. When the reader cannot tell from the title of this other article that they have this answer buried deep down into the article somewhere, I think you can beat it. Just craft an article that's totally about this one aspect of the question or the other topic that they are writing about. And then craft a title that totally tells the user that you have exactly what they're looking for. That's what I would do. Maybe you'll just craft a smaller article or maybe a series of articles so you can target all these smaller questions that this other article probably crammed into one big article. So just write a much better article on this part of the question. Pravesh is asking, can you please share the niches with the highest RPM on AdThrive and Ezoic? Thank you so much. I really wish I could, but it's not that simple always. And then again, there are some niches that we always know will have super high earnings with ads, but they are typically inside what we call YMYL. Again, I have a link to that up here. I've talked about that several times. But other than that, you can check into Google Keyword Planner and see what niches have very high CPCs, you know, where do you need to pay a lot to get a click to a website with advertising in Google. Those numbers are typically correlated with how well you will find ads doing in that niche. So that's one way to go about it. Other than that, we often see high RPMs around anything people pay on a monthly subscription basis. So this can be SaaS software, you know, where people sell software as a service. It can also be other software tools, but I would say in most niches we can find parts of that niche that pays out very well. Maybe it's a specific product or maybe it's some services or other aspects of that niche. That's also why I always advise you guys to write batches of content. Write 10 articles on this sub part of the niche and on this and here over here, and then you will get to see inside a Zoic or AdThrive or MediaVine how high are the payouts for these articles versus these articles or these articles. So you just really need to experiment with it and go into a space where there are a lot of advertising money. So think about that. The next question is from Ahmed Hamdallah. I watched all your videos, oh thank you, but in one video you told that you don't use any SEO plugins. I can link to that up here if you want to see that one. So now I'm using Rank Math and I'm afraid to delete it when it will affect my site. The site is 5 months old with 50 articles and 1500 page views last month. Do you suggest deleting or keeping it? I think you should delete it. I did that even for one of my bigger websites that had a couple of 100,000 page views and nothing bad happened. Actually, the traffic just kept going up, up, up. So I would get rid of it. I think it's an old way of doing SEO by telling Google exactly what to put where, and now that Google is getting so good at this. Google is doing a really good job at crafting these meta titles for you, as I show in that video that I just linked to before. But before you delete it, you need to go over all your titles on your website and make sure that whenever you're deleting all these meta titles, you still have really good titles for every article. They should do two things. They should draw in people from Google, so it should be something that people want to click, incentivize clicks with that title. And also when people land on your article, you need it to deliver on everything you promise in it, so people don't get disappointed. Okay, the next question is from Mac. I have an Amazon affiliate site. Do these ads affect the conversion? That's also a very good question. So Mac is really asking here, when we put ads all over the website, will we just suffer on the affiliate side of things because people get drawn to the banner ads and they will not click so much on the affiliate links? I haven't seen that to be the case. And I've also seen a couple of other case studies where people tested this and you saw before and after numbers with affiliate. And they tend to do really well. And I think this is because people are getting used to ads. You know, all the bigger and serious websites out there, they all have ads today because ads are doing so well. You might just be viewed as a more serious website now that you put on ads, as long as you don't go overboard. But if you have some pages on the site that do really well with affiliate offers, you can always disable ads on these pages, at least when you launch the ads on the site. I'm doing that across several sites. When I have some really nice comparison tables, or if a post or article is just doing really well with affiliate marketing, I tend to not go as heavy on the ads. So you can do this in multiple ways. With AdThrive, for example, you can disable only the ads that are in the content or in the sidebar or in the videos. And with the Zoic you can also do this, or at least you can disable them all together on one page if you want to. So you can sort of start by doing it gradually. I think I'd do that, especially if you have a website that's really killing it with affiliate marketing. The next question here is from Tom B. So when outsourcing articles, do you just tell the topics and keywords of an article to your writer, or do you also write the outline and provide the bulk of bullet points to write about? Yeah, I would give them more than the headline, certainly. I typically give my writers the headline at the top and also all the subheadings. And sometimes if I found a good fact or I found this specific website or URL that I want the writer to dig into when they're doing the research for this article, I'll also put that in the outline. And many times I'll tell them how to format it. You know, if I want a bulleted list or a table at the top, I'll tell them to do that, and I might also tell them exactly which columns I want them to put in there and just fill out the first row so they can see exactly how I want them to format it. Because, you know, it's just so much easier for the writer to get it right the first time if you tell them as much as possible. So I would say always give them as much information as possible, as long as you don't go overboard and sort of start writing the article for them or spend way too much time. I typically spend between a few minutes and 10 minutes when I'm outlining an article for my writers, so there's something to think about. The next question is from Ricardo. Maybe you could make a video on how exactly is your workflow with the team. I'd be interested in learning. Nobody's talking about that. I think I'll do that. Alright, so the way I work with my team is that I'm using Slack for communication. If you don't know, Slack is this chat software area you can chat with people. It's kind of like the Discourse app. If you're a gamer, you might know it. So you have multiple channels and you can put all your writers in one channel and your editors in one channel, and if you have graphic guys or other types of groups, And that's what I'm using for communication. But I'd say on a weekly and on a daily basis, I only communicate with my editor because she's taking care of all the communication with my writers at this point. But it wasn't too long ago I was communicating directly with every writer. And then I just kept it all inside Slack. But now that I primarily talk with my editor, I also have her on Skype because I want her to be able to reach me quickly if there's any urgent matter with one of the websites. And for working with the writers, I'm using this ClickUp software. It's really cool, and I have a strong feeling that it's made by publishers for publishers because it works so well for this. I have to do a video where I show you exactly how to use it. But if you want to get into it, just check it out. You can create workspaces. So I have a workspace for each site, and then I can assign writers to each site. And I can also give some articles priority if I want them written first, and so on. And I also have all my writing instructions and outlines. When they click one article, they can see exactly how I want it laid out in the article. And when a writer is done with an article, they just assign it to my editor, and then she can see in there exactly which articles are ready to get edited. And other than that, I let all my writers write directly into WordPress. So they will type in directly onto the website and just post it as a draft. Then my editor will go over it, add some images and do what needs to be done, and then she'll press publish. So that's how I go about it. And again, if you have more questions, leave them in the comments below because I might get to them in the next video. And subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time.